Greenland? Why does Donald Trump want Greenland so badly? It's about security and geopolitics. Believe it or not, Greenland is one of the world's strategic points. If the United States were to take control of it, they'd actually have a shot at dominating the world. I'm not exaggerating here, because what lies beneath Greenland's colossal and ancient ice sheet and the ice surrounding Greenland is actually humanity's most significant and hidden treasure. Whoever controls it holds something far more valuable than any physical currency or printed paper money. And in this video, I'm gonna flip the world map to show you exactly why Greenland is such a pivotal and essential strategic location for world domination. You can support the information in this video by scanning this QR code or by subscribing, clicking the bell, clicking like, and just doing that will really encourage me and the entire Time Money Monster team. It truly helps us keep making fun and independent videos like this for everyone to enjoy. Thank you so much. Have you ever wondered, in this big world, about the relationship between NATO and Russia? Why are they always fighting? What are they fighting for all the time? They're fighting over treasure, that's what. And that treasure is the natural resources lying beneath the Arctic ice. Now, if you look at a regular world map, or when you buy one of those blue globes, it looks just like the globe we're all familiar with. That's why most people only ever see the world map from the side view, but never see it from the top. So when you flip the world map to look at it from above, let me show you what that looks like. It looks like this. This is the point that will show us how, if the United States were to acquire Greenland, it could become a strategic location that would allow them to dominate the world. But let's hold off on that for now. First, let's get to know this vast sheet of ice called the Arctic. If we go deep down beneath this ice sheet, it's divided into layers, and researchers have found that each layer, there are even ancient civilizations as large as Manhattan buried beneath this ice sheet, layer upon layer, civilization after civilization, stacked on top of each other, though no one knows exactly how many. And it's this accumulation that holds an immense wealth of natural resources, both those we know about and those we don't. As researchers have discovered, it's now estimated that beneath the Arctic ice sheet, there are about 90 billion barrels of untapped oil, as well as natural gas. Just in this area alone, there's as much as 30% of the world's natural gas. On top of that, there are rare earth minerals, those hard-to-find elements that everyone's competing for now to make EV batteries and all sorts of high-tech stuff like semiconductor chips. All these natural treasures I've mentioned, these are the resources that have real economic value and are essential for the survival of the human race, unlike paper money. Now, let's go back to the world map and focus on the North Pole. To make it clear for everyone, the North Pole, the empty spot right here, I'd compare it to a diamond so precious that whoever possesses it will have it all. Everything. It's like having powerful authority. Let's look at the map. Right here in the center is the Arctic. It's surrounded by 6 countries that have rights to its resources. Alaska, which belongs to the United States, Canada, Greenland, which is part of Denmark, Norway, Iceland, and the problem lies with the 6th country, Russia. That's because Russia has the longest Arctic coastline of them all. That's because half of the Arctic coastline belongs to Russia, and there are up to 2 million Russians living in this area, which is about half of the total population living in the Arctic. Russia's position along the Arctic is a key strategic point for the country. It's what has allowed Russia, over the past 3 years of conflict, to stand alone against the combined financial power of 7 NATO countries. And yet, Russia is still holding its own. Russia hasn't lost yet. Not because it has a lot of money. In fact, Russia is facing high inflation and a weak currency. So why hasn't it been defeated? It's because Russia has something more valuable than money. It has real economic assets in the form of resources, like oil, natural gas, and other natural resources. That's why Western countries haven't been able to easily break Russia apart. And if we look back at the world map here, we'll see that the United States has Alaska. It already borders the Arctic, right? If the United States were to acquire Canada and Greenland from Denmark, the US would completely change the game. It would become the country with the longest Arctic border in the world, not Russia. Everything I've just said is the first reason why the United States wants Greenland. This is Arctic geopolitics, a battle over the Arctic. The United States wants to directly compete with Russia so that they have comparable natural resources and can truly compete in this area. As we've seen, just fighting with money alone never really leads to a clear winner or loser. It never ends, right? That's why the United States wants Greenland. This is a matter of national security. And there are actually 3 additional significant reasons why the United States would want to acquire Greenland. The second reason is that the US needs Greenland to establish strategic new trade routes and to block potential trade and military routes as well. Let's talk about the various commercial shipping routes in the Arctic first. We actually have to thank people all over the world for contributing to the process of making the entire planet much warmer. And now the polar ice has melted so much that it has created 2 major waterways that can actually be used for shipping and trade. The Arctic ice has been piling up for millions of years, right? It's massive, enormous. If we tried to dig through it by hand, it would take way too much effort. But that's okay. No one person had to work extra hard because people all over the world have helped warm the planet, and the ice has melted on its own. So the melting polar ice has now created new shipping routes. There are basically 2 main routes for trade. The Northwest Passage, which runs from the state of Alaska in the United States, passing through Canada, so the US controls this route. The other is the Northeast Passage, which runs along the Russian side and then connects to China. Simply put, it's a trade route that Russia uses to conveniently transport goods to China. Now, the United States has started thinking, hey, this Northeast Passage, isn't this making things way too convenient for China and Russia? That's not good. It's just too easy. Plus, the Arctic ice is melting more and more, which has actually created a brand new route right through the middle. It's even more impressive than the others, called the Transpolar Sea Route. Now, if anyone manages to control this route, it could become a really prime trade route because it shortens travel time and makes it much easier to transport goods by sea. You can go straight from Europe to Asia. Of course, Russia, which has the longest Arctic coastline, is already interested in this route. Russia has invested heavily in building infrastructure in the Arctic, like the Great Arctic State Nature Reserve, which covers as much as 41,692 square meters. Russia has also invested in icebreaker ships and has several military installations throughout the Arctic region. This is mainly to counter NATO. Plus, in 2018, for some reason, China, despite not having any Arctic coastline, declared itself a near-Arctic state. So China joined Russia in investing in things like icebreaker ships and other related projects. China also announced another trade infrastructure initiative called the Polar Silk Road, which is China's version of the Silk Road for trade purposes. Exactly, and China and Russia have been working together on all sorts of activities in the Arctic region. Everything from research and natural resource exploration to military cooperation, including joint exercises. It's like one is good at fighting, the other is good at business. What a perfect match. This has made it necessary for the United States to acquire Greenland because that would allow the US to have a state to be able to maintain strategic control over the route known as the Transpolar Sea Route. If the United States were to successfully acquire this territory, not only would they gain the most convenient trade route through the North Pole for themselves, but they'd also be able to effectively obstruct and block China and Russia from having an overly accessible and convenient trade route. In other words, they could effectively block this entire passage for good. If you follow this route, you'll see it goes through the UK, then Iceland, and then Greenland right here. Not only does this help protect the trade route, but it's also a strategic point to block Russia from sending ships to attack the United States through this passage. Moving on to point number 3, why does the United States want Greenland? It's because of rare minerals, all those minerals they need to manufacture tech products. If the US could get access to the rare minerals in the Arctic region, you know what? They could just ignore China. They wouldn't have to care whether China wants to sell to them or not, or whether the price is high or low. They could just mine it themselves, right here. Michael Waltz, Trump's national security advisor, gave an interview with Fox News earlier this month. He said that Greenland has a lot of hydrocarbons and certain metals, and that they'll become even more accessible if the climate changes. That means, as the world gets warmer and the ice melts, these resources will just surface on their own. We won't even have to dig for them. This could become a matter of prestige and status for the United States, because the United States also focuses on producing high-tech products, right? But their problem is that most of the rare earth elements and other such materials are in China, and China controls about 90% of the world's imports and exports of these resources. So even if the US wants to go hard against China, they can't really do it because they're afraid China might just stop selling these raw materials. But if the US could get Greenland and have more involvement in the Arctic, they could mine these minerals themselves. So if they prepare for this, the United States would probably be able to hit China even harder than before. And the fourth reason Donald Trump wants Greenland so badly is that if he gets Greenland, he could surround Canada. Donald Trump wants Canada. He's not joking. He's serious. He wants Canada to become his 51st state, just like that, first day. And as for his method, he's already announced that he's not planning to send in troops or use force to get it, but he's going to use trade pressure. If he manages to get Greenland, just look at the map. It would mean Canada is completely surrounded. On one side, there's Alaska, which already belongs to the United States, right? Down below, there's the huge mainland United States. And then on the other side, if Greenland belongs to the US too, you're stuck right in the middle. Might as well become the 51st state already. So let's take a look at just how serious Trump is about wanting Greenland. The Financial Times even ran a headline about it like this: Donald Trump personally reached out to the Prime Minister of Denmark directly and had a very intense and heated negotiation, saying, I, meaning Donald Trump, I have to get Greenland this time. As for us, who have nothing to do with it but are just curious, all we can do is simply sit back and watch how it all unfolds. This massive real estate project of Donald Trump's, whether it's Greenland, the absolute largest island in the world, it's like the idea of annexing Canada to become the brand new 51st state. Just exactly which specific piece of land will Donald Trump's real estate project manage to buy first?